What does it mean to like perform?
Oh, what an excellent question. Like performance, I guess for me just means being able to read or recite my work. And and shout out to my friends because I have gotten up in the middle of the living room and just been like, "Can I reach out this thing?" And my one friend was like, "Oh no, I'm scared." And I was like, "Why? What are you scared for?"
Scared rabbit, they've got you boxed in. Old habit, you draw the curtain. Lonely only if they ever leave.
Hey, my name is Michael Zarick, and this is Third Space Indy. In 1989, a man named Ray Oldenburg wrote a book called The Great Good Place. And in this book, he coined the term the third place. This describes somewhere outside of your home and outside of your work that you can go be with others and build community together. And so I've made it my goal to find people all over Indianapolis who are doing their very best to create these types of spaces.
Very cool.
So today, I'm joined by Auboni Hart, aka Auboni Essence.
Yes.
And as we just discussed, just Auboni.
Yes.
So first of all, how are you doing?
I'm doing really well. I feel really good. It's a nice Friday. It's a little chilly, but it's warm in here.
Yeah.
So that's good.
I was hoping it was going to be, so I walked here from like the very tippity bottom of Mass Ave, and I was hoping the sun would be out. But I was like a little chilly walking up here. But that's okay. I feel good now and a little sweaty. Ignore that. So the way, connected is maybe not the right word, but I'm going to use it. The way you and I connected is because I attended Sam Ferrante's
Real life revised.
Well, I was going to say her literary, what was the term we used?
I use literary open mic.
Literary open mic called Real Life Revised.
Yeah.
And I sat and listened to every single person who was there. And there were some amazing people there that night. But that also included yourself, who did a performance of, I think, a short poem.
Yeah.
And it really connected with me. And I sent you a message afterwards. And I apologize for not remembering exactly what the poem was about, but I do remember how it made me feel.
How did it make you feel?
If I recall correctly, there was like a sort of a sense of like longing or like a sense of, what's the word I'm looking for? Nostalgia associated with it. And I just remember being like, this person's cool. And then I started looking at your Instagram page and I was like, oh, this person's like very Indianapolis.
Yeah.
And that's like the exact type of person I'm trying to talk to.
That's dope. Well, thank you.
In your own words,
Yeah.
can you share with the people who you are and what you do?
Yeah, so I'm Auboni Essence when I am performing. So I am a poet local to Indianapolis. I believe in everything Naptown. When I'm outside of my arts scene, arts world, I am just Auboni Hart, a communications and marketing professional. And then if you're looking for the person that sits in between, then I am just Auboni. I am a human being who loves people and seeks to inspire, to touch, to heal, and to provide a little bit of hope, as well as recognition to individuals who share space with me. I wish I could remember what the poem was. I also was thinking about my term literary open mic, and that seems a little redundant because aren't all open mics literary in some fashion? But I do think that putting that in front of open mic captures a little bit of what Sam is trying to get, which is she doesn't just want poets, she wants essayists and storytellers and all this other stuff. And I feel like I've heard like a poetry open mic before, like, so it doesn't feel too off kilter, does it?
Yeah. Well, she also was like, Michael, do you want to do like a 5-minute podcast? And I was like, I would think about it.
Yeah.
So tomorrow I'm doing my very first like live podcast recording. Who's to say who shows up?
Wow.
But like there's something about sitting down one-on-one.
Yeah.
You know, even though there's someone in the room with us.
Yeah.
But the sitting down one-on-one and like sharing space together.
Yeah.
That I think is like there's an intimacy to it that's like there, but then like when you bring in other people, how does that affect the output? I think that's interesting. And I think there's a question of like, actually I was thinking about this on the way over here, like why do you enjoy performing your writing?
Because a lot of it needs to be performed. I write differently. I write for the page, I write for the stage. But when you're writing for the stage, you have to perform it. It like you can read it, but there is an element that is missing when you don't get to see the, for lack of a better term, theatrics around the poem. I have a poem called "Is Your Pussy Worth $5,000?" That if you were to read that poem, I still think it would be very evocative. But when you see me perform it, there is an added layer of connection and understanding that I believe it can get lost on the page. I'm not saying that it's impossible to convey that, but I do think that it's more probable to have those elements fall through the cracks.
That makes sense. I recall, this is like a really random memory that just hit me. A friend of mine wrote a poem in high school and like sent me a recording of her reading it.
Cool.
And then I recorded myself reading it and sent it to her, and she goes, "I like the way you read it better." Like it like hit differently when I read it back to her. And I think there was that sort of interesting like dynamic of like performance,
Yeah.
as you say, where it's like the way you convey the words on the page through tonality or like something you're or even body movement. Like I think there's a lot there. That's interesting. An interesting thing I didn't think about immediately.
Yeah, absolutely. There are, like, I was in real practices and we were reading poems sad, reading them mad, reading them funny, picking out the elements that made sense for different lines and piecemealing it together so that we had something that felt more complete and conveyed the correct emotions that we were looking for throughout the entire way.
So where in Indianapolis are you from?
The northwest side. So, you know, the library, the newest maybe library off Michigan Road.
Yes.
Yeah, it's like across the street from like an Ace Lock and Key, and yeah. So I grew up in that neighborhood, so behind there.
Okay, what high school did you go to?
North Central.
Yo, okay, cool. Everyone I know who went to North Central is like really cool.
Shout out to the Panthers. That's all I gotta say.
That's funny. I don't even know why. I was just interested more than anything else. What about Indianapolis like compels you to want to rep and perform and, as you say, heal and share?
Well, I mean, keep it a bean, you know, because there are going to be people who are going to call me out on this, and that's fine. I did not like being from here for a really, really long time, and I would say that this newfound love is 3 to 5 years old, to be honest. I've only ever lived here. I've only ever experienced what Indianapolis is like, and I had a type of upbringing that instilled in me to not like Indianapolis. Like everywhere I would go, I would just find myself around people who did not like Indianapolis. And so then fast forward to 3 to 5 years ago, and I was finding really cool people. I mean, really, if we go back 8 years is where I found Mariah through that piece open mic, and she's one of the coolest Indianapolis natives that I know of. And so she was introducing me to the art scene, and I was getting to see more of a reason to stick around. Fast forward a few years after that, and I was finally feeling like I was finding people who were proud to be from Indianapolis. And that was like truly mind body shifting of finding people who were actually like, yeah, like we understand Indianapolis has its downfalls, but like also here's some really cool things. And how cool would it be for you to also say that you're a part of these cool things instead of just hating on this city? Like, show the city some love. What you put into the city is what you get out of the city. And I was like, okay, cool. And so it's been like a journey of being intentional about seeing the beauty of Indianapolis instead of slipping back into what honestly most of my childhood was. I have very vivid memories of like friends or even family members saying like, I hate it here and I can't wait to leave. And while I want to leave because I've never seen anything else outside of Indianapolis, like I would not leave and be like, oh yeah, nah, F my city. Like I would be like, no, you have to go. And here's a list of places actually that you should go. I love to take people to food places. I understand that we might not think that there are really good food places in Indianapolis.
There's a lot, I promise.
There's so many. There's so many. Like, I think, what's that called? Like Tinker Street or something like that? One of them.
Yeah.
Really great. I love Chin Family Restaurant on the South Side. I love Yasso in Fountain Square.
Oh my God.
Bruh. Like Tleoli on East Washington Street. Jollof Buka on West Washington Street. 3 and 1 on West 86th Street. Listen,
List them off.
I was like, I like to eat food. And so to come back full circle to what you're saying of just like instilling and inspiring and uplifting and healing is like, I think that there's a brokenness that some of our Naptown natives are experiencing that makes them feel this like very real and very valid like anger or disconnect or discontent with the city that needs to be poured into and loved and healed because you can leave. You know, everybody can do what they want to do in this world. But if you're not leaving and you're staying, then complaining about the problem isn't going to do anything if you're not willing to be the change that you want to see. So so that's just kind of where it goes for my Naptown natives, as well as like we're all humans and we're going through something. And my work really tries to like touch on, again, recognizing, and by recognizing, I mean seeing those people who are going through those things and letting them know that they're not alone, or letting them know that there is a way that you can heal, or there's a way that you can express, there's a way that you can be that isn't destructive to yourself or others.
That's beautiful.
Thanks.
Yeah, there's this like perspective I think people have or don't have because they haven't lived somewhere else. I'm blessed to have lived in a number of different places. And I think that gives me a unique advantage in moving here where I can say, here's how Indianapolis is different and that's why I like it.
That's cool.
And that's part of the reason I started doing this podcast, because I really like it here. But there's a lot of privilege that comes with being able to, like we were talking about earlier, like fuck off in the middle of the day, like to be at Loudmouth Books and like sit down with someone and talk.
Yeah.
You know, not everyone has that ability.
Yeah.
But like putting yourself out in the community, like you said, like going to meet like-minded creatives or just somebody who has a shared interest with you can really just lighten up a place that would otherwise feel dark or lame.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah, so really putting that information out there. I like to pub all of my favorite places, like Ujamaa Bookstore, Loudmouth Bookstore, that piece, open mic, of course, anything that DJ Grapevine, DJ Bay, Brooke Billions, DJ Sounds by Cam, any events that they're putting on, I love to just go to and be in the space. Yeah, like I'm going way back. I went to a very large church, and my first lady used to always say that a big church feels small when you get involved. And Indianapolis is already like a big city, like small town vibes. And so all you have to do is really get involved, and you'll begin to see that, oh yeah, like we went to this event, or I saw you at that event, and there is a real community. But it takes for us to go to the things and exemplify how important it is to us in order for a Carmel, a Greenwood, an Illinois, an Ohio, a Texas, a Brazil to see how really cool and important it is, period, full stop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's like this analogy I like to use with in relation to IU Bloomington. A lot of my like high school people I know from Louisville, where I'm from, would talk about a school like IU Bloomington, which is a large school, saying like it's too big for me. But I would always use the analogy of like it's like an ocean, and you have to like find your school of fish, like the people you want to hang out with. So I hung out with music students and like random sorority girls or whatever, and then like the informatics or like computer science kids. And it's like when you hang out with those smaller groups, schools literally and figuratively, you found that like it wasn't as intimidating or large as it seemed. It's just like putting yourself in the position to find your people always use tribe. I think that's probably out of favor in terms of like terminology, but like something like you're Just a group of people you like being around.
Yeah.
I love hearing that from you. Speaking of a group of friends, we were gonna have this discussion. So you're going later today.
Yes,
to
later today.
Practice.
Yes.
With a group of people who play music together.
Yes. What is your definition of a band?
I think I just said it.
Group of people who play music together. Yeah. Yeah.
What's the name of that band?
We don't have a name. It's just my friends.
Today's the time to have that discussion. So tell me about like how you came into this situation.
So my partner and just really good friend. We started off as really good friends. His name is Troy Freeman. He, aka Mr. Troy Track Select, spearheaded the Naptones, and the Naptones is an Indiana Music Award ceremony. It's just for the state of Indiana. And last year was its first year. This year is its second year, and I am performing. So I performed last year as the like intermission. So anytime we were switching from announcing awards for like best rap, hip hop single and album to best rock, I would get up there and I would perform. And so he asked me to perform again this year, and I said, okay, cool, I'll figure something out. This year, though, it's expanded to where we have other Indiana acts performing as well. So it won't just be me. I just have my own segment, which I think is beautiful. It is blossoming into what an individual would think about from an award ceremony perspective. You know, you watch the Grammys, they'll have Glorilla coming down, you know, from the sky. And so while we won't have people coming down from the sky, we'll have different performances. And so like that's a little bit of the backstory of how we got here, where I was like, okay, this is a new poem that I want to do, but I wrote it to a song by Cleo Soul. And I wanted the man to just play that instrumental, but I also wanted vocalists to sing the mantra that she has in this song. And I was like, okay, cool. There is a house band already, but the house band doesn't have a piano player. Mm-hmm. That's fine. I'll find a piano player. There's a house band, but the house band doesn't have vocalists. That's fine. I'll just find some vocalists. So I literally just texted a few friends and was like, hey, this is what I'm thinking. Would you be down? This is how much I can pay. And they said, yeah. And I said, great, rehearsal is Friday.
So you formed a band.
Yeah, for this one piece.
For this
that I'm
one
doing.
thing.
Yeah.
What is your definition of a band?
My definition of a band is a group of musicians and vocalists who come together to perform or play. Play, perform, practice. The three Ps.
So are you performing?
We're performing on at the Naptones together.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we'll be practicing tonight and playing both those times.
There's going to be a name discussion happening.
But will this specific band come around again? To be determined.
Who's to say bands cannot be amorphous? Just like
very strict people. I'm not one of those people.
I appreciate you having that discussion with me.
Yeah.
So when you talk about
that
piece open mic,
yes,
there we go. I got there. I haven't attended one.
Oh, you should come.
It's large.
Yeah.
The last one I know about was at the White Rabbit, but that was a while ago.
Ooh, I don't know if we've been at the White Rabbit.
Am I crazy?
Yeah, I don't know if we've ever been at the White Rabbit. If we were, then it might have been an end of year show. My family moved to Texas, and so I'm not usually here in December. But I know that right now we're at 10 East Arts. That's like our home base right now.
Yeah.
And it happens every third Thursday. We've been just carving out space for people to come, of all artists, genres to come. So last month we had, actually, it's still March. This month we had a comedian, we had some MCs, but we predominantly have a lot of poets, and it's the space.
You're one of the organizers?
Yeah, I'm one of the organizers. It's me, Mariah Ivy, and Dashay Mansfield, who is a phenomenal vocalist. Just dropped a single, by the way. You should listen to it. It's called Drive. It's really good.
So why did you get involved with the creation of that space?
So Third year.
That's a question.
Yeah. 3rd-year anniversary show for that piece open mic was actually at the downtown library and the Center for Black Literature and Culture. And I went. This is my first time ever going. And I had the best time ever. Fast forward a couple months, and Mariah was like, all right, I'm looking to expand the team. Who wants to be a part? I said, me. Me. And so I went, and we officially formed in October of 2017. And I've been rocking with them ever since.
That's almost a decade.
Yes.
Okay, I shared a map of Indianapolis, of downtown parking.
Yeah.
The other day on Instagram, and someone messaged me and they go, "This is an old map," and I was like, "It's from 2012. That's not that old." And they're like, "That was 13 years ago." And I was like, "Oh God." So I found a more recent one, but that's it's the phrase I've been doing this open mic act.
Yeah.
And you said that was the third.
That was the 3rd-year anniversary. Yeah. So we are coming up on 11 years this July.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
How have you seen it evolve over that time?
Have
you also in the middle of it was COVID.
Yeah.
Have you seen COVID impact that I'm going to call it a community space?
Yeah.
It's interesting to think about community spaces from pre and post COVID perspective.
Yes. So pre-COVID, I'll say that there were a lot more individuals, because there was just this culture, this understanding of it's okay for us to be in a room crowded, shoulder to shoulder next to each other. COVID happens, we're doing all of our shows virtually, specifically Instagram Live. We're just giving people a show of sorts, sharing screen with people so they can come in and do something and spit a verse, and that's how we were doing stuff every other month. And then post COVID, you could just really tell that in-person events across the world were impacted, and that fewer people were okay being shoulder to shoulder. Even now, as we are 4, 5, 6 years removed from the shutdown, I notice the extra steps people take to keep their distance from other people. And so with that, we don't have, we switch spaces, so that's cool. But we also try to switch spaces to accommodate for more space. And so we still have a very thriving and loving and supportive audience. And so I love that. I don't think that's what a lot of spaces can say. COVID did a number on a lot of community spaces. And so we are very grateful that people are still coming out and letting us know that they want this space and it's valuable to them. But I don't see, when I remember the library, I just remember, again, me having to be all right, excuse me.
You're pushing people out of the way.
And now it's people are taking as many precautions as possible to just not be as close physically in a public space. And so I think that's what I've noticed the most. And I don't think it's wise of me to be just touch your neighbor. I do think that I want to encourage people to still go outside, though, and take the extra precautions and safety that make you feel comfortable. We don't mask shame at TPON. If you want to show up with a mask, you can do so. And we've had people do that. If it starts to get a little bit uncomfortable and you need to take some time, you want to actually go outside, you have the space to do the things that make you feel comfortable. But we also want to see you. We want to say what's up. We want to give you a little fist bump, elbow, or just 2 fingers, whatever is comfortable. Yeah. And so that's kind of what I've seen. But again, through all of that, we've seen the love, we've seen the support, and we've seen people still show up in a way for us. And that has felt it's made me feel just so warm and just crazy. Cause again, that is what keeps us going.
Have you seen the art or the performances itself change in tone also over the same period?
I mean, yeah, but in general in the poetry space, it's changed. So a decade ago, it was a lot of I'm thinking about button poetry and other slam performances that would reenact things, right? They would reenact what happened. And now I'm seeing things kind of shift to people are personifying the whatever the system or the thing that they're interrogating. So they become like, let's just take capitalism. They'll become a capitalist figure and say, yeah, I am the reason that you do. But like 10 years ago, it was, you know, I got bills to pay and I'm doing this. It was, this is how it's impacting me. And now there's this switch of, I'm now personifying the thing that is impacting, so you can see how dumb it is or how detrimental it is or how aggressive it is, whatever the term is, whatever it is that you want to get across to the listener.
Yeah, there's this like concept in movies right now
Yeah.
that I've seen a lot of discussion about, which is this idea of like post-meta writing, where it's like movies at some point, so like early 2000s, you have like Lord of the Rings, which is like the most serious lived in world like fantasy ever. And then you get into this like, I'm trying to emulate Lord of the Rings. So I'm imitating what that is, or I'm doing a commentary on it. And now we've entered this point of movies, which is like post-meta commentary. So it's like commentary on the commentary, which is like its own weird evolution of movie writing. And it's like, at what point does this collapse back to like being super serious?
Yeah.
And, like you're back to what Lord of the Rings was, which is like you're going full ass into like I'm living in this world versus like doing commentary on the fantasy world.
And then commentary
and like
on the commentary.
what you described about poetry kind of makes me think of that, where it's like I've moved from describing my own personal experience, something I've lived, to doing almost meta commentary of like whatever system I'm talking about. Does that make sense?
It does. and I would agree. And I think that all things are like cyclical. I'd be interested to see if there's something else that branches off from this. But I think that it'll probably just follow that cycle for a little while of just like coming from perspective to like this meta commentary to perspective to commentary. Now for the movies, I don't know. I know that I'm more I lean more towards original movies. That is what brings me in the most. That is what brings me in the most, is just original works. Or I'm okay with like movies that are adapted from books. One of the movies that I end up seeing are always movies that I didn't know were going to be sad. And so like this years ago, because I was in high school, but I took my mom and my partner at the time to see If I Stay, which nobody knows about because it's one of those just original niche movies. But it's about a young girl who's a celloist, and her parents are like on this icy, snowy back road in some forest, and they're driving, and this truck comes and like runs them off the road, basically. Parents don't make it. She's in a coma. She's a renowned celloist, okay? I think they were arguing about how like she feels so pressured and something. And then the rest of the movie is answering the question, like, is she gonna stay? Is she gonna go? I don't know. And like, I didn't know it was gonna be any of that, okay? I thought it was gonna be like, okay, we just see what happens after she emerges from said accident, okay? No, the entire movie is like we're flashing in and out of being in her brain, because she can kind of hear what's going on with her family. And so she's like living in this world in her brain, but it's not really making sense. And she knows it's not making sense, but it's making enough sense to make her want to stay in her brain. But like her family's just like, no, you need to stay in reality. And then the movie ends with like a zooming in on her eyes. And then they just open, and we don't know if they opened in her brain or opened in real life. And then it just like fades. It doesn't even fade to black. It just cuts to black. I was so upset. And my partner and my mom were bawling right next to me. And I was like, I didn't know it was going to be this, I promise. Like, there were so many heartfelt moments of like, what did it was her grandpa finally came to see her in the hospital because he hadn't seen her the whole movie. And was just like, listen, like, I don't got nobody else. Your mom is gone. Your dad is gone. Your grandma's gone, you all I got. And like, that's what did it for them. And I was just sitting there like, dang, that was real heartfelt. Like, and then Marley and Me. Have you seen Marley and Me? Yeah, I didn't know that was going to be sad.
Is it I'm not like a crier. Like I don't feel
It's
like
okay.
actually I'm interested in your I have a follow-up statement on this, but
Sure.
like Marley and Me does not have the effect on me that maybe
No.
it does on other people.
That's good. It had me, my grandma, my great aunt
Oh, that's
bawling.
yeah. Also, I can't take Owen Wilson seriously, and I'm pretty sure he's in that movie. So.
Yeah, well, he did good to me.
Yeah, there's this. I've been thinking about this a lot. Like,
Yeah.
and maybe I'm wrong because part of the reason I'm talking to you is because you had an effect on me. But I feel like sometimes I don't get art, like where I'm like, I don't know. It didn't make me feel like. Sometimes I'll go to like a art opening at a studio here locally, or go to a First Friday thing, and people are like so enveloped in like a painting or a drawing or poetry or whatever, and I'm like, I don't think I get it. Does that make sense?
It does make sense. And I think that like my initial response to that is like you just haven't found the art that like resonates with you. That's my initial response to that, because there are pieces that I've seen, honestly, Harrison Center's First Friday, that I'm like, okay, this is nice. Yeah, this is cool. And then there are pieces that I'm like, oh wow. There was this one artist who was painting parts of the West Side, and because I'd been on that side of town, and I live over there right now, I'm like, wow, like, no, I drive by this, I interact with this, like this is pulling me. There was an artist who was capturing just the weight of being a Black woman in America, and like that resonates with me. You just have to find, because I think that art is for everybody, and I think that everybody is an artist, despite what everybody else feels about that statement. You just have to find what resonates with you, and that is going to shift as you progress in this world and progress in life.
Yeah.
And so what resonates with you today quite literally might not resonate with you tomorrow based on what happened that day.
Yeah. And maybe the things that do connect with me, I'm maybe not considering. I'm doing like some personal reflection in this moment. Some things that do connect with me, and maybe I don't immediately consider art. So for example, at Newfields, there's this painting of downtown Indianapolis in like the early 1900s. There's like, there's streetcars, there's horses, there's people, and it's sort of like literally paints this picture of a world we don't live in anymore, which is like very walkable and local and connected. There's a grunginess to it. I think in the modern times that wouldn't necessarily look the same, like the mud covered streets or whatever. But like there's like a yearning that I feel when I look at that painting, where it's like, we could have this. Or like I saw a picture of a photo, I should say, of a Monon train going down the Monon Trail. Or what was the Monon train line. And I was like, that's sick. So I was like, screw bikes. Like I use the Monon all the time, but it's like, why don't we still have that? So you could, if I were to like say, maybe I'm just like not thinking about that thing in the moment as like art, but that's really what it is.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. There's two things to that. One, we don't have that. Blame Ford. My history teacher told me that Ford like lobbied and convinced so many government agencies to like pull up their train tracks, and that's like why we're here. If that's inaccurate, blame my history teacher or my memory.
I mean, there's definitely a lot of lobbying that happens with cars and stuff. And
then the second thing is like, I would like to encourage you to explore this, the overall theme of desire, but as you narrow it down, your like not like attachment, but this recurring feeling of longing or yearning, because you've said that to me a couple times today, and I feel like that's the space that you're in. And so I want you to interrogate that and investigate that further through artwork, through writing, through reading. What is pulling you? What calls out to you? You've already expressed this sense of, feels like it's transit oriented, to be honest.
Don't get me started on that.
But yeah, it's just exploring that. And then the very last thing, and I'll probably text this to you, but the very last thing is I then want you to activate your imagination, right? Because you're longing for something that I'm assuming you don't have. So then what does it look like for you to have that? And like, and share, you can share whatever you want or nothing at all.
And then come to that piece open mic.
And share. You already know.
Hashtag ad. We're going to move on to what I call the canned questions.
Ooh, okay,
Wait,
cool.
You did listen to a full podcast or no?
No, not a full podcast.
Okay, that's okay.
Okay.
Third Space Indy is sponsored by City Rising. City Rising is a social impact studio that leads and supports innovative projects that strengthen, celebrate, and repair people and places. City Rising has sponsored a question, which is, what is a third space to you?
Third space is a space you can go to where you don't have to spend any money. That's like a third space. I do think that there's a lot of, maybe I'll coin fourth spaces where you can go and there is like a cover, but the third space is the one where you can just show up. And so that's why I wanted to be intentional about attending a space where we could just be here today. And so Loudmouth is that space. Ujama is that space for me. And yes, there is still like, they would like you to buy books, right? But Loudmouth also has a book club, and you can come and you can connect with people. You don't really have to buy the book. You just have to have the book. And thanks to the Libby app, which is free, you can get the book. And so that's like what a third space is to me. And I don't think that they're as plentiful as I would like them to be, one. And two, I think that due to capitalism, we are like full speed ahead going towards this like community space that you have to pay for. Like we are normalizing the need to have to pay for community. I just wrote a new poem that touches on that briefly.
Only briefly?
Yeah, only briefly. It's like 2 lines.
Like not a haiku. But,
Just a
I think
stanza.
I have more than 2 lines of thought on that.
That's
statement.
okay. Let's get into it.
Yeah, talking about this live is really hard, and I do think writing is an excellent way to express that because it allows you to really sit with your thoughts on this type of thing. But I think there's this sort of balance that I try to strike in my own thinking about free space, because we do live under a capitalist society. Supporting spaces like Loudmouth Books with purchases is important.
It is.
But in an ideal world, you wouldn't need to do that.
Yeah. Yeah.
for a place like Loudmouth and others to exist.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think that comes down to certain infrastructure issues in terms of like taxation and stuff like that. But I totally agree with you in terms of like, I always use the term, like it shouldn't be, you shouldn't feel compelled to spend money when you go into a space. You know, this is what you're talking about in terms of like spending money. Like, yes, it's great to come in and support Loudmouth Books, but if I walk in and there's an expectation to spend money expectation is the word I was looking for. Then the dynamic changes a lot.
It feels like I actually can't just be here. Yeah. I'm personally less inclined to go to spaces where if I go the first time, it feels like I have to spend money. Like, I will not name this coffee company, but there was a coffee company where I went in and I just asked for the bathroom code.
I know what coffee company, and I will not also comment on that.
And I did not patron them for 2.5 years because of that. That was a very negative experience. You don't even know if I'm willing to spend money with you. I need to address a bio need, and you were worried about $1.
Yeah.
And I did not patron them for 2.5 years for that. I am that type of person where I understand the value that I bring when I'm spending my money, when I am engaging with capitalism because we have to. And I believe that if you demonstrate to me that you will not put the human first, then there is no need for me to support this organization. So I did not do so. And the only reason that I ended up doing so is because of convenience.
Yeah. Can I augment your answer a little bit?
Yeah.
See if you agree with me.
Yeah.
A third space is a place where your relationship is not based on transaction.
Yes. Eat it up. Clock it.
That's a term I do like to use a lot. Transaction, because I think a lot of our relationships are based in transactional relationships. You know, I only have a transactional relationship. I reference Calvin Fletcher a lot because I really like Calvin Fletcher. I think it's a wonderful space for the people who live in Fletcher Place.
Yeah.
I would not call it my third space.
Okay.
Because I would like walk in, I get coffee, and I leave most of the time.
Okay.
Like,
Yeah.
I would call that a transactional. I don't know any of the baristas. I don't know the owner or anything like that.
Yeah.
Versus like Thieves in Broad Ripple. I know all the baristas by name.
Very
The
cool.
owner knows me by name. Like,
Yeah.
we're like, that is a space where I have removed transaction from the importance of me existing there.
Cool. That would be Cleo's Bodega and Ujama for me. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Great. Next question.
Yeah.
Amazing answer.
Thank you.
Great discussion.
Yes.
The next question, which is related, what is a third space that has existed for you previously that no longer does?
Oh man.
Always a hard question.
It is actually because like I.
Well, it's also interesting. Sorry to interrupt your thought process, but
No,
like
it's okay.
because you talked about feeling disconnected from the city despite living here all the time.
Yeah, I was like,
Did
yeah.
you even have one?
Yeah, that's what I was gonna get at. Is I didn't feel like I had one. Then I started laughing because I grew up in a neighborhood that's next to a private school, and so but the private school didn't want us on their property. We didn't care, so we would either hop the fence or break the chains. Somebody in the neighborhood, I don't know who, actually like cut the fence and ripped it back.
Like a little entrance type thing?
Yeah. And all we really wanted to do was just utilize their facilities, specifically like the basketball court and the track. Those were the main things that were calling to us. Because of that, they ended up taking the hoops off of the courts. So like there was no incentive really to be there. But that was the third space that we created as children. And then, you know, when I went to college, I was full-time school, full-time work. So I didn't really have time for a third space.
You go to IUPUI?
I went to Butler.
Butler? Okay.
And so like maybe my third space was the library. Like that's just what I want to say. But every library I've been to is still there. And so I don't think that there is one.
Don't think of it like physically or
Okay.
necessarily physically.
Okay. Then my childhood porch. My mom sold our house, so like that would be my third space.
Oh yeah.
That's gone for me.
Have you ever driven by your house that was sold?
Yes.
And you like look at it?
Yes.
My childhood home, I was not involved in this transaction.
I wasn't either.
But my mom sold it, and well, I'd drive by or walk by sometimes when I'm in Louisville and be like, why did they do that?
Yeah.
Like they painted our door yellow and they like built like this ugly fence around. It's because they have kids and a dog.
Yeah.
So I get why.
Yeah.
But also it's so ugly.
2 thumbs down.
Yeah. And like there's like we were talking about yearning, but yearning is not I think the feeling. It's sort of like it's no longer mine, and that's cool in a way, but there's still like a piece of me that's left there.
Yeah. Well, I would classify it as yearning for me in like a nostalgic way. I didn't want her to sell the house. It's back on the market right now. I've thought about
You're like, I'm getting in there.
yeah. So yeah, that's and they did do some renovations. They renovated my mom's bathroom and my bathroom. But everything else, to be honest, is like sweat equity that my mom and I put in that home. So there used to be carpet. We pulled up the carpet to reveal the original hardwood floor. They still have that because it's good quality hardwood floor.
Classic 70s stuff. I feel like people put in shag rug and you're like, I'm taking it out.
Yes. And then and they renovated the kitchen a little bit, the cabinets. They made the cabinets the same, but everything else in that home, from what I could see on Zillow, is the same. Yeah. But yeah, so I'd say that's kind of just like what I'm longing of a third space, maybe. That's a difficult question for me to answer. I'm going to be thinking about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can text me.
I will.
We'll edit it in. You like send me a voice memo. Like, drop it. Except this is coming out in 3 days. So.
Oh, okay. Well, hopefully 72 hours is enough time.
Every episode, I ask a question from the previous guest.
Oh, which means I get to come up with a question.
Correct. Most people don't catch on to that for some reason.
Okay.
My previous guest, her name was AJ. You saw her.
Yeah.
She owns a pole studio called Did Fit Studio. Sorry, I don't know why it always escapes me.
That's all right.
She asked the question, what are you more afraid of? The deep ocean or outer space?
The deep ocean. Oh, this is a hard one. Because I'm afraid of them for different reasons. Like the deep ocean, you get deep enough and you'll just like, you know. But then like outer space, you know, if you don't have all the things that you need, you'll like break into pieces. Like you'll freeze instantly and break into pieces.
Mm-hmm. What if you're fully safe
in both spaces?
In exploring them.
Shit. It's so hard. It's so hard. Because the place that I would go to if I could go anywhere in the world is the bottom of the ocean because nobody's been there. Like if I could go there safely, that's where I would go. So I want to say that because of that, I'm more afraid of space. I'm gonna say that.
That's so funny.
Yeah.
I'm afraid of space just because like when you like start to think about it, you're like, oh my God.
Yeah. But that also makes me want to go. Like, yeah. Like, this is hard.
It's like 99.99999 repeating nothing.
Which is fine.
Which is horrifying.
And I still want to go. Yeah.
That freaks me out.
I think the G-force is what really scares me, and just like the possibility of having like a stroke from not having everything that I need in that moment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you like into, well, you talked about not going to see happy movies, but
I didn't mean to.
So there's a movie out right now. It's called
Project Hail Mary.
Project Hail Mary.
Yeah. I want to see it. I heard it was a book though, so I want to like read the book. But
there's this, I think like people will talk about the optimism in the movie, but I also think there's this like, it's reminiscent of like very 60s mentality American where it's like space, the final front, like Star Trek, space, the final frontier. There's this like amazing adventure that's waiting out there.
Yeah.
That's like interesting that I think that, or like, you know, as much as I don't like talking about Elon Musk or whatever, but it's like this idea that Mars is the next place we could go.
Yeah.
But when we talk about appreciating what we have presently in our existing environment, like I have everything I want here. I don't know. Sometimes it's like balancing that, again, yearning for like adventure or like something new and exciting, but like also appreciating the things that you have right outside your big window.
Yeah, my interest in space does not come from like a space of no pun intended, like wanting to bring the systems we have here to space.
Yeah.
Like when I was telling my best friend about this, she was just like, yeah, I don't want to do that because like I don't want to have to like pay to enter and exit space. I don't want to have to be on space and here's this ad.
You don't want to be a space surf.
Yeah.
Like, I know what you're saying.
And like and my desire to explore didn't even include any of that. It was just like, let's go to these different worlds and be very careful and appreciative, and wherever we can actually let's like not even touch anything, because this is a story we had to read and it's where the butterfly effect comes from, Basically, you know, they went back in time. They were like, don't get off the path. This guy got off the path, stepped on a butterfly, and that changed. When they came back to the present time, that changed everything that there was in that story. And so, like, what would it look like if we just went and we had our, like, floating machines and devices and things, and we just, like, didn't interact, we just observed? What's the likelihood of that? Probably minimal, but, like, for multiple reasons. But that's just kind of where it came from for me, is like, I just have a desire to know and to see and to just kind of understand as much as possible while still being respectful. And so, yeah. But to your point of appreciating everything that we have here, like, we are like earthbound creatures. So, like, we should do everything that we can to protect our planet.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just a curious person. Like, I have no desire to start colonizing another planet, Mars included. Like,
Mars doesn't even excite me.
No.
They don't have Wi-Fi there.
They don't have oxygen or the same level of gravity that we have.
There's a lot wrong with that place.
You know? Yeah.
Is there anything else you would like to talk about?
I am a 2026 Art and Soul artist. And
oh, that's right. Oh my God.
And
that was like one of the big things I asked you about. I'm so glad you brought that up.
No, it's cool. I was like, dang, we talked, we had a great conversation, and I never even brought up
this cool
share.
Thing. I'm also interested in this.
Yes. So Art and Soul has been going on for 30 years. We are the 30th cohort to come out of this. It started as something to highlight Black artists and Black music for the month of February. And it has grown to a year-long cohort. So we will be performing and gigging starting next weekend all the way through October. And you can catch myself, Dashae Mansfield, Ken Wave, aka Kenny, and Dr. Austin Dean Ashford. We are this year's cohort, just presenting our artwork. We have an Art and Soul Sunday performance. Each one of us has our own Sunday where it'll be an hour for you to engage with us and our artwork. And then we have different opportunities to just perform in different spaces throughout the city. And so at the Naptones this Sunday, actually, myself, Dashae, and Kenny they are part of my band that I just pieced together. They are my friends.
Choose the word.
Yes, I did. And I am, like, before you finish the question, I thought the question was just going to be what scares you. Mm-hmm. And honestly, this opportunity kind of is a little scary. I've applied for it maybe 2 or 3 times, and this year I finally got it. And now it's like, oh shit.
Was there like a sense of like, why am I still applying to this? Ever?
I wouldn't say that. It was more so like there was this sense of disbelief, like, I'm applying and I probably won't get it, but I'm gonna apply. But I don't know if I would categorize that as like, why am I still applying to this? I just didn't believe I was gonna get it, but then I got it. Now I'm here, and now it's like, oh shit! Like, I have to do it. I have to execute.
You're like, I didn't think I would be in this position.
Yeah, you know, which is crazy. So, like, if there's anything to take from that, it's believe in yourself, because somebody's gonna say yes at some point. Out of 1,000 no's, it's gonna be a yes at some point. And when that yes comes, you can't be like not ready to go. You have to walk into it with the same confidence and understanding and belief in yourself, because somebody else saw that. And I think it's really easy for artists to lose that, because we're all sensitive. Every last one of us.
What does it mean to like perform?
Oh, what an excellent question.
Because you said like perform your art, but like one time I got in like an hour-long discussion at Indiana Humanities.
Cool. About
the difference between arts and humanities.
Okay.
And you're primarily a writer.
Yeah.
Which for them would fall under humanities.
Oh.
So, and you said my art. So I'm not trying to discuss the necessarily semantics, but like for you, like what does it mean to perform whatever you're creating? Like
performance, I guess for me just means being able to read or recite my work. And and shout out to my friends because I have gotten up in the middle of the living room and just been like, can I reach out this thing? And my one friend was like, "Oh no, I'm scared." And I was like, "Why? What are you scared for?" And so then my other friend had never seen me do this before though. So she was just like, she's like, "Oh, like you finna perform it right here." And I was like, "Yeah, absolutely. Why wouldn't I do it any other way?" And so from living rooms to coffee houses to bookstores to just grander stages, like that is kind of like what it means for me. It's just being able to read or recite my work to someone. I just want them to like to hear it, to give me feedback, to tell me what it was that they felt, tell me what it was that they didn't feel. Like that's kind of like what it means for me. And for arts and humanities, like, I mean, feels a little synonymous, but it also just like, it also is like the nuances of like literary artwork, I don't feel get the justice that they deserve. Specifically,
The writing stuff.
specifically like hip hop. Like hip hop is a literary work. Like when people are giving you double, triple, quadruple entendres, like that is literary work. That is not. That is a play on words. Like this is, and words are pretty detrimental to literary work. And I don't think that conversation gets brought up enough about the different types of literary work. And so I say all this to say that like literary is so broad, but we have been encouraged to look at it so narrowly. So are you a published author? So oh, did you get your essay published in this thing? Like, oh, like, do you have a book? Can I sign your book? Can I buy your book? And it's like, nah, I mean, some of my stuff, you just got to come and see me, or here's a YouTube link, or here's an audio file, no pun intended, as an audio file. And I was gesturing your way. But yeah.
Well, it even like plays into that idea of like this capitalist mentality of what defines success.
Yeah.
Have you made money off your work?
Yeah.
That is how you define a successful author.
Yeah.
Or writer or artist or whatever word you want to use.
Yeah.
Versus like, I would consider you successful because you are creating space for people to share their stuff.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
I appreciate that. I'm glad you brought that up because I'm also doing quarterly workshops this year. So that's a literal space I'm carving out for people to come and like write. And if they would like to share, they can. If they don't, there's no pressure in my workshops. It's just a space to get the brain juices flowing and the imagination growing.
Sorry, I was like, there's a rhyme in there. When you talked about wanting to get a reaction or like whatever reaction means from someone else, do you need that to come from us? Like, do you appreciate it more when it comes from a certain source? Or is there you don't really care, it's just how you just like having the impact?
I definitely would say like my friends and family matter a little bit more than any random stranger. And also I try not to discount the random stranger. Because, you know, like not everybody's gonna love you, right? And so I say this with the understanding that I am still protected and I am going to remain in my protective barrier. But if someone comes up to me and they're just like, you know, I didn't really like that poem for XYZ reason, then I'm gonna like allow myself to sit with it. But I don't think I would, I'm going to actively work to not have it consume me. Because again, as artists, we're all sensitive. And so if you tell me that you don't like something for something that I think is a valid reason other than it hurt my feelings, or you're making it out to be all insert noun here when it's not all insert noun, then like that sounds like you've got some things you need to do and unpack in your life. Ain't got shit to do with me. But if there's a legitimate reason of like, it didn't take into account this perspective, which is valid for this reason, that's different.
Yeah.
That's challenging me to grow. That's challenging me to research more about something that I took time to not only write about, but then to perform. which means that there was a hole in my research, right? And so like that's just like really important. Regardless of that, though, having trusted like writers in my circle review my work and give me honest feedback, and just having the support and honest feedback from my friends and family matters the absolute most. They're like equal playing field.
Totally.
Yeah.
Cool. 2 last questions.
Sure. As many as you want. I'm having a good conversation.
Oh, I can go all day. Well, I do have a sort of, what, you know what time it is?
Let's see. It is 12:20. We've been talking for a while.
Okay, I gotta stop soon.
Okay.
Because I gotta get to Fountain Square.
Oh, yes. Okay, yes. Let's be respectful of your time.
I never know how to ask this because it feels like it feels presumptuous.
Okay.
Can you just like rip a poem right now?
Ooh, here's one that's just like, before I met my partner, before I told my partner that I was interested in him,
Mm-hmm.
I was unsure if the feelings were being reciprocated. And I wrote this poem.
Mm-hmm.
It's called Let Me Down Easy. We sit on pumpkin couches and shoot the breeze. Till the morning from late evening, I only got one reason that I'm hanging around you. My mind is telling me not to fall, just to leave. My heart says, girl, please, you is off the ground, boo. In clouds with pink sweats and honesty is the best, but I'm afraid, cause I want you. And before long, snow's joy graces me and the boy, and I find that I still haven't told you that I want you around. Cause if you only see me as a friend, then I don't wanna know. And if you're playing me, and keep that shit on the field, because I kicked my confidence to the curb when I learned that friendship is your top priority while listening to Miguel on the radio, but I muster every bit of courage to tell you that all I want is you. And this could be a sure thing if you tell me that I like girls like you and teach me how to love you to the moon and back. I'd never stop loving you. I'd always have your back. I'd write my piece to you about love and profess it on every single track. But alas, if you don't feel the same for me, then please, please, just be sure to let me down easy. But he liked me, so it don't matter.
Did you like read that to them?
Yes. Yes,
You're like, this is how we're breaking up right now.
No, we're not breaking up. I read that. Yeah, no. We don't want to break up home. Anyways, actually, quick aside, I have done that to somebody.
I'm dead.
I performed it on stage while they were in the audience.
That's crazy.
It was not the most tasteful moment in my life.
Did the room pick up on it?
Yes, but the thing here's my problem. Here's my problem, okay?
We're airing beef today.
I know. I didn't know that everyone would pick up on it.
Mm.
Genuinely, I didn't. Or I'm not that evil of a person. I got up there and was like, yeah, like I'm just gonna spit this poem that I wrote, but everybody picked up on it. Everyone who knew in me in my life picked up on it. So yeah, not one of my finest moments. But yeah.
I wonder if that's like
I'm now more emotionally intelligent from that. And I won't be doing that moving forward.
I wonder if there's like man, I thought my writing lacked had subtlety that it just like didn't in that moment.
Yeah, that's exactly what it was.
And it's almost like man, that was a really effective like growth as a writer.
It was.
You're like, man, I really messed up, but
here you go.
Thank you.
Yeah. I did that. Haven't done it again, won't do it again, but I did. I thought that there was more, it was more hidden, subtle than it really was. It was definitely.
Was the person present?
Yes.
Oh, wait, you said that?
I did.
Dang. I don't know who it is, but I'm sorry that happened to you. Also, I'm sorry that they made you feel that way, whatever that was.
And you know what? I apologize as well. We have not spoken in a long time. Yeah. And I did not and have not considered how you might have felt about that. So I apologize. Mm-hmm. I just knew that I was getting my thing off my chest in that moment. But like I said, you have to grow. And I'm a little bit more emotionally intelligent from that experience.
Yeah.
So I welcome that growth while also acknowledging the fact that I messed up.
Yeah. How old are you now?
28. I was like 24.
Sorry. you started organizing that piece of mic when you were 19, which is crazy.
Yeah. I mean, I started earlier than that.
Yeah.
So.
And I think that's so incredible. And to like think about the mistakes I made when I was younger, which I do a lot. Doing self-reflection is so important. And like, you know, you clearly haven't lingered that heavily, but like don't linger on the mistakes you made. Just focus on how you can improve and go forward and stuff.
Thank you.
That, yeah.
I appreciate that. Cool.
All right, let's wrap up because I do.
Yeah, you gotta go.
Have to go. What question?
Oh fuck.
Would you like to ask the next Third Space Indy guest?
A lot of my work right now has been trying to answer the question about what is freedom reimagined to me. And I think like that's a very large question. So to kind of narrow it a little bit, I'm asking people to, what are some elements of a world that you would want to live in? That's what I got.
Yeah.
Because I don't want people to I want people to feel like that they can just list something. But if they want to just go full-fledged and just describe the world that they want to live in, I'm down with that too. Mm-hmm. But yeah, just like elements of a world you would want to live in. And like, why? Why those elements? I think transit is a big one for you.
Transit is a big one for me. There's a lot more too.
Yeah.
Well, you mentioned like, I also like to answer the question. I'm not in that much of a rush. Transit's obviously a huge one, but I also really like want to live in a world where I would call the current moment we're in a low trust society. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. A lot of that has to do with post-COVID. A lot of that has to do with the political climate. A lot of that has to do with a lot of factors, including and never limited to capitalism. Live in a world where you can like fully trust everyone you interact with.
Yeah.
I do it. Like I leave doors unlocked that I probably shouldn't, and like, or like walk into places with a certain like gumption that maybe I shouldn't. A lot of that comes with being a large white dude, as I mentioned earlier. But like, just like being able to trust everyone, regardless of, like what your current situation is. And I think that's something that we really struggle with right now. There's a lot of like hesitation around interpersonal relationships and stuff like that.
I love that. I've never thought about the trust element, but that makes sense. Like I'm trying to build a world around that where trust is higher than what it is now, but I never thought of it in that way. But that's exactly what is needed. Just trusting your neighbor. I'm about to reach out to my neighbor, see if they want to hang out.
Like you're literal?
Yeah.
I do need to do that. I have one neighbor, her name is, oh no, what's the girl from Finding Nemo who like shakes the bag?
Oh. Darla.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So that's her name. She's like an older lady. Her name is Darla. She's like really nice. It's like, it's fun to talk to her. But there's like so many other neighbors all around me that are a variety of people that I have never interfaced with at all. And I just know that at least some of them are good people. So it'd be cool to like reach out and be like, what's up? I'm over here.
Yeah.
Cool. Amazing question. So what are some elements of a world you want to live in?
Yes.
Great question.
Yeah.
Hey, thanks so much for joining me, Auboni.
Thank you for having me.
Just Auboni.
Yes.
Can you tell the people where they can find you, your work, your projects, whatever you're doing?
Yeah. So you can follow me on Instagram at Auboni_Essence. That's AUB as in boy, ON as in Nancy, I_Essence. That is where like I post everything that I'm doing, particularly on my story. And yeah, website coming soon. It's loading. No timeline, but it's loading.
I told you I work for a marketing company earlier. Like whenever someone we're working with says we're working on a website, we know that the timeline of our job gets extended by a month minimum. It's like just not as much of a priority as people like think it is.
Yeah.
Anything else?
No, that's all I got.
Is That Piece Open Mic have a Instagram?
That Piece, the open mic does have an Instagram. It's at That Piece Open Mic. That's Peace, Peace, open mic. So That Piece Open Mic. What else? You can follow Arts Council Indy. You can follow Dashe Mansfield and Ken Wave and Dr. Austin Dean Ashford. You can follow the Naptones and Mr. Troy Track Select and the Select Few Sessions. Trying to think about. You can follow Mariah Ivy because she's dope as well. These are all the cool people in my circle. DJ Bay, Brooke Billions, follow Grapevine.
List them up.
Yeah.
I saw that was actually where it was before this was Nigel.
Very
was
cool.
giving a talk.
Yeah, I saw that.
Really cool.
Yeah.
Hey, thanks for watching or listening to this episode of Third Space Indy. You can find me at Third Space Indy on Instagram or by going to thirdspaceindy.com. If you want, you can give me your email. I write a blog. I promise to get back on that.
No timeline.
Yeah. Thanks, City Rising, for sponsoring the podcast. Also, as always, shout out to the local artist Jennison for letting me use your song Scared Rabbit as the intro music.
Thanks to Loudmouth for having us as well.
Oh, thank you to Loudmouth for having us. Shout out to Kelly for letting us in and being so friendly. Bye.
Bye.
Scared rabbit, is the coast clear? Go grab it, you're gonna starve here. On your bed of death with one regret, but you never said.